You ever get an invoice for something you didn't buy? I'm talking about opening your mailbox to a fat bill from the local HOA. And here's the kicker. You're not even in the HOA. Yeah, welcome to my world. That was the first domino. Before I knew it, I had threats, fines, even a bogus lien taped to my door. All from a bunch of folks who honestly believe their rules made them untouchable. But I had a little ace in my back pocket, see. What they didn't know was the record showed the HOA had been dissolved for years. Yeah, dead. Buried. Like a ghost with a gavel. Still trying to run the living. And me? I was about to use that to flip the script. Now before we get lost in the legal weeds, let me just ask, what's the wildest Karen moment you've ever seen? Because folks, what you're about to hear, even Hollywood couldn't write it this good. So, there I was, standing in a stuffy courtroom that smelled like old carpet and stale coffee, watching a judge named Martinez peer down at a piece of paper like it was a month-old tuna sandwich. Across the way, in a flamingo pink power suit, sat Karen Lander, the so-called president of the now-exposed Longwood Estates Homeowners Association. I swear, her face was turning a shade of purple I'd only ever seen on overripe fruit. She was full-on losing it, veins popping, voice high enough to crack glass, yelling, "This is an absolute disgrace." She was spitting mad, pointing at the bench, accusing the judge of being biased. And you know what? It was kind of glorious. Behind me, my wife Gina was quietly recording the whole meltdown, her phone barely visible in her lap. A true pro, saving receipts for the neighborhood Facebook group. She gave me a tiny nod, that look that said, "Oh, we're posting this later. Justice one upload at a time." I tried to keep it together, play the part of a solemn, respectable citizen, but inside I was about to explode. This was the woman who'd made my life hell for months, queen of nasty notes, tyrant of trash cans. And here she was, getting a public flogging. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't sweet. The judge, bless him, didn't even flinch. He just waited for Karen to run out of steam, then said, in that deadpan, dangerous voice, "Miss Lander, you will be silent, or I will have the bailiff help you be silent." Instantly, she shut up, but you could see her chest still heaving, her eyes darting around the packed gallery. Neighbors everywhere, the very people she'd lorded over, all quiet, waiting for the showdown. And what a show it was. Martinez picked up the page again, the official death certificate for Karen's little fiefdom. Based on overwhelming evidence, he said, this court finds that Longwood Estates HOA lost good standing and was dissolved 3 years ago. It has no authority to levy dues, enforce covenants, or place liens on any property, especially not Mr. Hangdrummer's property, which was never part of the association. Then, just for good measure, he looked straight at me, and I swear there was this glimmer of respect in his eyes. "Mr. Drummer," he said, "the case against you is dismissed. All debts nullified." Then he swung his gaze back to Karen, and I swear the air got colder. Furthermore, this court orders a full forensic audit. All liens filed in the last 3 years are declared fraudulent and void. And I am referring this matter to the district attorney for investigation into potential criminal charges. The whole gallery gasped. Civil case? Sure, that's one thing. But getting the DA involved? That's a different league. Karen looked like she'd swallowed a bug. Me, I was grinning like an idiot. I looked at Gina. She winked. We did it. We actually did it. But let me tell you how it all started. Because nobody gets to the big fight overnight. It was small at first. Some random invoice in the mail. A creepy visit on my doorstep. That all grew fangs. It was a perfect Tuesday, garbage day, I remember, because for once I'd actually gotten the bins out on time. Little victories, right? Gina and I had moved in a year before, a cute little ranch on the edge of Longwood Estates, literally the last house before the big fancy stone sign. Our property line was the cutoff. One side, our slightly wild lawn. The other, Mr. Henderson's HOA manicured turf. We'd checked the county plat maps a million times before buying. Lot 24, not in the HOA. No dues, no rules. Nobody telling me my bins were 2 inches too close to the curb. It was perfect. So when Gina came in with a stack of mail and a fancy envelope from the HOA, I figured it was just a welcome note. Instead, an invoice. $300 quarterly dues, $150 welcome fee. Total, $450. I laughed, tossed it into recycling. Clearly a mistake. I mean, I work in tech. Logic is my life. House not an HOA equals no dues. Done. How naive I was. 2 days later, the doorbell rang at 7 p.m. I opened it to find a woman, late 50s, blonde helmet hair, white pantsuit, smile sharp as a razor. Hello, I'm Karen Lander, president of the Longwood Estates HOA. The smile never touched her eyes. Buster, our dog, started growling. Good judge of character, that dog. She chirped, I just wanted to make sure you got the welcome packet. Sometimes the mail is unreliable. I was polite, told her we got it, but there was a mistake. Our house isn't in the HOA. Her smile wobbled. A mistake? I don't think so. All the homes on this street are part of Longwood Estates. I tried explaining the property line, lot 24, the maps. That's when her mask slipped, just for a second. That may be a technicality on some old map, but you benefit from the community. You drive on our streets. You enjoy the landscaping. It's only fair you contribute. This wasn't a mistake. It was a shakedown. With all due respect, I said, I'm not paying for something I'm not legally part of. Her smile turned into a thin line. She looked at my house like it was a stain. It'd be a shame if things got difficult for you here, Mr. Drummer. We value cooperation in this community. People who don't cooperate tend to find things unpleasant. That was the moment I realized I was being threatened on my own porch by a woman who smelled like hairspray and entitlement. I stared at her. Are you threatening me? She snapped that smile back on. Of course not. I'll send another invoice. Please think it over. And she walked away, heels clicking like gunshots. Gina came up behind me, asked what happened. That was a declaration of war, I said. And I wasn't wrong. The letters started coming weekly. The friendly reminders turned to delinquency notices. Late fees, interest, the works. I used them to start the grill. Then came violation notices, trash cans visible from the street, a patch of dandelions, an unapproved welcome mat. Fine stacked up. And when that didn't work, she sent in the muscle. Saturday morning, I'm mowing the lawn, breathing in that fresh grass smell, my one little slice of zen, when I see two big guys in HOA polos in my yard, measuring tape in hand. We're with the Longwood Estates Compliance Committee. One says, as if that means anything to me. Checking for code violations. On my property. For an HOA, I'm not even part of. They start talking mailbox measurements, citing bylaws. The curtain twitchers across the street are watching like it's pay-per-view. Karen's not just harassing me. She wants a show, wants to make an example of me. That's when my IT brain kicked in. When you have a problem, you document it. I pulled out my phone. Hey, fellas, can you state your names for the record? Suddenly they're less brave. Hands up, blocking the camera. Gina comes out, phone recording. She doesn't say a word, just stands there, and she's way scarier than I'll ever be. They hightail it out of there, tripping over themselves. Gina says they were measuring the mailbox. She's escalating, she said. It's not about the money anymore. It's about control. And she was right. So, that night, we held our own little war council over a bottle of wine. Operation Annoying Neighbor was born. Our strategy, live as freely and loudly as the law allowed. I became a 7:01 a.m. lawnmower enthusiast, muffler mysteriously louder than before, always waving to Karen as she peered through her blinds. But Gina was the real genius. She designed a huge sign. This property is proudly not part of Longwood Estates HOA. We pay no dues. We follow no bylaws. All inquiries, please go away. Have a nice day. Instant neighborhood legend status. Driver slowed, people laughed, Karen lost her mind. More violation letters arrived, each more ridiculous. I returned them with notes in red marker, duct taped to her door. She tried to break us with pettiness, so we out-pettied her. When she complained about windmills in the yard, Gina bought a giant inflatable flamingo for the roof. Every notice, every fine was answered with something even dumber, until Karen decided to get physical. That's when Cousin Alex, law student, loophole hunter, perfect for this, stepped in. Keep every letter, he said. Every visit. Build a log. If she ever tries to take you to court, you'll bury her with her own crazy. So we did. Gina ran a spreadsheet, scanned everything. And, well, I guess Karen didn't realize she was picking a fight with a family of nerds. When intimidation didn't work, she sent security, which was just one of her goons in a fake uniform, blocking my driveway with a golf cart. We had a classic standoff. Me trying to park in my own garage. Him claiming my driveway was now a fire lane by ma'am's orders. Things got heated, shoving, yelling, but Gina was already dialing 911, calmly narrating the whole thing for the record and filming everything. The police showed up, looked at the paperwork, told the goon he was trespassing, unlicensed, and would be arrested if he ever showed up again. They even warned Karen through him. One more incident, and she'd be the one in trouble. That was the turning point. The game wasn't fun anymore. It was dangerous. Time to stop playing defense and dig for the truth. We set up in our home office, laptops, coffee, the works. Gina scoured the county website, finding the plat map, proof we were outside the HOA. I checked the state corporate registry, and there it was, Longwood Estates HOA, status inactive, corporate charter revoked for missing annual filings. In other words, legally dead. Gina found the payment trail. All those dues paid to Lander Landscape and Beautification LLC, owned by, you guessed it, Karen Lander herself. We checked the county records for liens, dozens, all filed after the HOA was dissolved. All fake. She'd been running a one-woman scam, fleecing the whole neighborhood. We printed everything, filled a binder with receipts, ready for war. But Gina was right. Paper alone wasn't enough. We needed someone on the inside. We threw a barbecue, invited a handful of neighbors, some who'd been burned by Karen, and Arthur, the quiet guy on the HOA board. After a couple burgers, Gina dropped the binder on the table. "We need to talk about Karen," I said. You could feel the tension break as people realized they weren't alone. Arthur, pale and sweating, finally spoke up. "She terrified us," he said, handing over a thumb drive with all the real records. Proof of the fraud. He was a coward, maybe, but that night he found his courage. Then came the lawsuit. Karen suing me for $5,000 in unpaid dues. She thought she had me cornered, but I represented myself, with Alex coaching me. We lined up every scrap of evidence, plat maps, inactive filings, bank statements, Arthur's emails, and told the story, simple as possible. The judge got the picture fast. He declared the HOA dissolved, voided every lien, ordered a full audit, fined Karen, referred everything to the DA. Her meltdown in the courtroom was chef's kiss. She was physically dragged out, still shrieking about conspiracies. And the best part? Justice stuck. Her accounts were frozen. Money clawed back to the neighbors. Karen vanished. For the first time in years, Longwood Estates was free. No more fear, no more beige shutters, no more fake rules. Bob across the street painted his shutters neon green. You could see them from space. The sound of wind chimes and basketballs filled the air. Gina and I sat on the porch, cold beers in hand, Buster asleep at our feet. It was quiet. The kind of quiet you only appreciate when you've fought like hell to get it back. And here's what I realized, sitting there, sometimes the biggest bullies are the ones hiding behind rules, behind power, behind made-up titles. And the only thing that ever really stops them isn't more power, it's proof. Cold, hard receipts. When people stand together, when they share the truth, the mighty can fall. It's never just about the money. It's about refusing to be bullied, even when it seems impossible. But hey, looking at those neon green shutters, I had a laugh. Pretty sure that violates city code, I told Gina, deadpan. She just smacked my arm, laughing for the first time in months. "Don't you dare," she said. "We finally have peace." Now here's the question, for everyone listening. Where's the line between standing up for yourself and just fighting for the sake of fighting? When power goes unchecked, who keeps it honest? Is it worth it to play by the rules when the rules are broken to begin with? Tell me, what's the wildest battle you've fought for your own piece of justice? Drop your story down below. I can't wait to see whose Karen tops mine.